Anytime you're ready.
Alright. I'm going to talk to you guys about spearfishing and the dangers involved with spearfishing. There are three major ones. They are the dangers involved with scuba diving, the dangers involved using a spear gun, and the dangers of the wildlife in the ocean. According to DAN, which is Divers Alert Network, 80 to 100 people die annually from scuba diving accidents or just being careless. And in order to better understand what I'm going to talk about first, though, I'm going to kind of explain what spearfishing is and the type I'm talking about, because there are multiple types. For the type I'll be talking about involves using scuba diving equipment to dive into large bodies of water, oceans, rivers, seas, and use a spear gun to shoot fish. So the first and probably biggest danger of spearfishing is using scuba diving equipment. When you go scuba diving, you're of course underwater and you have to breathe, and there are many ways that that breath of air could be taken away from you. The first thing is you could be going along, having a great time, and you're not paying attention to your gauges, and next thing you know, you ran out of air and you're now in pretty big trouble. You could also have a leak in your cables, your equipment, your tank, and that's going to cause your air to deplete a lot faster than you would expect. So once again, you'd have to be watching your gauges, but that's why it's important to always check your diving equipment before you go in order to be safe. It's also possible that you're going along, something happens, an animal scares you, whatever, and you lose your regulator, which is your mouthpiece, and then you don't have your mouthpiece, which it's usually pretty easy to grab back onto, but say you panic and you're not thinking straight, you could be in trouble if you're not able to get it back. Another danger of scuba diving is with pressure changes. There's something they have, it's called decompression sickness, which is if you ascend too quickly, you will get air bubbles in your blood, which potentially could kill you. You have probably about 12 hours to get it fixed. If you don't get it fixed, you're going to die. You could also, while a lot of the problems come while ascending, just so you know, you could be ascending, holding your breath, and what would happen is the gases would expand from the less pressure, and it would cause your lungs to pretty much explode. Another problem you could have is your power inflator, which is a thing that will fill up your BC, which is like a backpack, with air so that you can float on top of the surface. Well, if for some reason that button started getting pressed while you were down in the bottom, it would fill up with air and start to send you to the top. And if that happened, you could be in pretty big trouble real fast. A third thing we have with scuba diving is limits on how long you can be down. If you're down at such a depth for too long, nitrogen is forced into the soft tissue of your respiratory system, and it'll cause you to have nausea, headache, and if you're down too long, it can cause you to pass out, which would be a problem because you would not be able to breathe. So when scuba diving, it's important to have a buddy because he's going to be your lifeline. The second big danger of spearfishing is using a spear gun. A spear gun is a deadly weapon. It shoots about a 3 or 4 foot long spear at very deadly speeds, and if you were to get hit by it, you would probably die real fast. So this is my spear gun, just a quick visual of it. These are the bands, you pull them back to here, and then as many as you want is kind of how hard it'll shoot. So if you're shooting a bigger fish, pull the trigger and it shoots, and will hopefully hit your fish. When using that thing, it's possible that your buddy could shoot you too, because a lot of times you go down there, it's very murky, you can only see a few feet in front of you, and that thing will shoot 30 feet. So you might not be able to see what's on the other side of your fish. You could shoot your buddy, or he could shoot you. The last danger of spearfishing is the wildlife you will encounter. There are a lot of poisonous fish and coral down there. There's a fire coral which causes a rash on your skin, and It kind of feels like a burn if it touches you, not so fun. There's another thing, lionfish is intruding into the Atlantic Ocean, which it has a bunch of poisonous spines on its back, and if you get stung by one of those and it's not treated, it could possibly kill you. There are also stingrays and eels. And stingrays, not a big problem, except they hide in the sand and you might not see them. And therefore, you could be swimming along and they could pop up and sting you. And then the last and most dangerous everyone thinks about is sharks. Sharks are a problem when you're spearfishing because you have bloody fish with you, and sharks are attracted to the blood. They can smell it from miles away, and they might mistake you for the bloody fish that you have in your bag. There was one time I was going along and had a couple fish in my bag, and I turn around and there's probably a 4 or 5 foot reef shark about that far from my fins, and scared the crap out of me. I dropped the bag and started swimming the other way, and he swam off. I don't know what happened to him, but they're definitely a danger and very scary at times, especially if you have dead fish. So in conclusion, spearfishing can be very fun and exciting. However, it is also dangerous. So in order to keep safe, it's important to be aware of the dangers and how to prevent them. So always check your equipment before you go. Make sure you go with a buddy. Treat your spear gun with care and respect the wildlife that is down there because they may be trying to defend their territory. That's it.